Welcome to the show, folks. Hounds of Business Happy Hour. If you don't know me yet, where you been at? No, I'm just joking. Mike Asherbrenner here, professionally known as the Redneck Connector and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And hey, you guys know this guy, right? Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger. Been a hound for what, 2 years now, my friend?
Going on 2 years, Mike. Absolutely. Loving the ride. It's been amazing.
You are a good man. You worked hard. You're a crock pot if I ever seen one. Everybody wants microwaves, right? But we all know what food tastes better, right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
So speaking of that, I can't wait to bring him up soon. Mike Healy is our special guest, thanks to Dr. Berger here. And we're going to be talking about educational standpoint, demystifying and, well, DBSing a lot of the stuff surrounding crypto and mining, okay? And you know that was brought to you by Jeff. So if he's bringing somebody up, man, you know, they're on the up and up. So just a few minutes I had backstage with Mike was absolutely incredible. Great guy. He's got a great story, and I can't wait to share it. But before we do, all right, everybody's on me all the time about balance or harmony, right? So, you know, work. That makes the redneck a dull boy. So here you go. You ready? Wonder if she's here yet. Okay, Chris. Chris is here. All right, so Chris, you can spread.
Hey, Chris.
Good to see you, big dog. He come on. He's a great hound supporter. Yep, that must be Mike's fan club. They are here. Yeah, Mike is in the house, and I will get to it because they're going to break the door down if we don't bring him up. All right. So here it is. I've actually we had fun. So I guard my 6-year-old's imagination because the world's trying to take it, right? So she's got a remote control, and I haven't shown this because I don't want to call him out. My oldest daughter's boyfriend was on this, and he didn't know. Check this out. Watch. I'll explain it. This is the happy on that little hillbilly, man. Did you hear that chuckle?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to have to wait. But she, 6 years old, went and got the remote control. He got on the car, had no idea that she can control it, that she was controlling it. And he flipped out. She kept driving it back and forth. He's like, what is going on? Oh, it's hilarious. But I'll see if I can't get that out there. But anyway, we had fun. All right. I didn't work for a few minutes. And all right, you're welcome. So there we go. And real quick, I had been wanting to do this. I seen this man, Troy Carnes, one of the most upright dudes I've ever met. A sincere guy. His book, guys, is out. All right, No Silver Bullets. Went through alcohol recovery. 98 days into it, he gets a cancer diagnosis. They cut his shoulder out, shoulder blade. Yeah, this is the kind of book I read because I want to know from people who've been through it, right? And this guy, he is such a good-hearted man. He raises a lot of funds and does a lot of great things for cancer and events and survivors. And he was recently with Mike King in August. They raised a lot of money for, I think it was pancreatic cancer in conjunction with Mike King Biz Radio, who we have a show with in partnership with. So thank you, Troy. Your book is amazing. And y'all know me. I don't read that much. Okay. I don't have a lot of time. So good deal. All right. Love that. Thank you. And last shout out, this amazing lady, one of the top hounds leaders and friends of mine, April Wyatt. She's going to have Julie Johnson of Integrate Trauma Informed Network. These are licensed professionals. They have tools and resources to help people. This is a big month, mental health month, right? You know what this is. So, and then Chris himself, who's in the audience, they're going to be on there tomorrow. Want to make sure everybody got to know these heart-centered professionals and go learn, right? Just like we're going to learn from Mike Healy today, folks. So thank you for being here. And Jeff, you're looking good, man. Where are you today?
I am in Orlando. I'm at the Patrick Bet David Vault 2025 conference. And I just saw Tony Robbins on stage a couple of hours ago. So really powerful event for business owners, entrepreneurs. So walking away with a lot of nuggets and some great, great information from other entrepreneurs who are attending this. There's over 12,000 that are here right now.
Wow.
It's massive. It's massive.
You're like, where's Waldo? We can't figure out where you've been at. You've been at Cutter and all over the place. I stay in my office shed 24/7, so it's easy. I'm easy to find. I'll tell you what.
I love getting out and about now because, for so many years we were locked in the homes And I love being out with people and engaging face to face. And that's it's been a blessing to be able to get back out there again.
I'm getting there. I'm going to go terrorize the hounds. We got to do a 2020.
Oh, you'll knock them. You'll really knock it out. I was going to say you'll knock them dead, but I don't want to say that. You'll knock it out of the park.
Knock them out.
There you go.
Well, let's knock out this intro video and bring Mike Healy up. I can't.
All right, I'm ready.
Demystify this stuff. Let's go.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbrenner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right, folks, there he is. Because of the connection of Dr. Jeffrey Berger, Mike Healy. There's your soundboard. Yay! I don't believe in him. How are you, Mike?
I am great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Seriously.
Oh, my pleasure. So you're a regular guy, right? I don't know if you noticed. I like those people, yeah. So, and the Hounds does too. That's who we are. But you're doing extraordinary things, and your path wasn't a straight linear line. We can relate to that. So if you don't mind, real quick, how did you meet Jeff? Or you can start with how in the heck you got into this space, in the crypto and crypto mining space, because that wasn't where you started, right?
No, I actually met Jeff through this, the crypto space.
Nice.
So if we go way back in time, just to give you a quick history on myself, out of high school, I got into being a bouncer and a bartender and did that for almost, I did it because I was living down at Ohio State campus and they put me in charge. I was the head of security guy down there. And next thing you know, I got a 10-year career into bouncing and bartending. And, after a while, it got really old, that kind of thing. And I met I'm from Columbus, Ohio. And what's kind of funny is I moved to open a nightclub down in Arlington. And the wife of my dreams happened to be there, which is my wife of 30 years now, was from Columbus. And we met at the bar in Arlington, which is kind of crazy. And then we came back together from Texas. And then I basically was still in the bar business for a little bit. And then I got into, I wanted out of the bar business, didn't know what to do, didn't really have I didn't have any college education. I was supposed to go to the military out of high school and didn't do that. Basically just wandering anomaly of life is what I was. And somebody took me to some meeting presentation. It was some network marketing thing that I looked at. And all I saw was I could make a couple $100 extra a month. And if I could do it hard enough, then maybe I could get out of the bar business. That was all I looked at. And so I ended up getting started that way. Most importantly, I met a bunch of super cool entrepreneurs because I had never understood business. I come from a small hometown, a graduating class of 150. And, both my parents were teachers at the school. That's the only way I graduated. Was my parents were teachers there. Otherwise, they'd probably still be doing class there. And what it was I got excited and I heard this thing called residual income. And I remember getting so excited. I go home, I call my dad. I said, Dad, I saw something. These guys are making money and they're making this thing called residential income. And he goes, you mean residual? I go, I think they got that too. And I'd never heard the word, didn't understand what residual meant. And
right, me neither.
They explained it to me. And I had to figure it out, and it took a while for it to click. It was more like Elvis money, and I'm like, still don't get it. What are you talking about? Elvis made an album 50 years ago and there's still money producing. And I was like, well, geez, that sounds cool. And so I actually just bought into the mindset of thinking differently. And then to kind of get to to where you guys can interview me, started reading some books, met guys, was wondering how they learned what they learned. And it was like the first time I ever read books. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Then I read the Cash Flow Quadrant, and I really started studying that stuff. And then I actually started studying leadership, public speaking. I mean, I used to be just terrified to public speak, like heart coming out of my chest, But I knew that the guys in front of the room were typically making more money than the guys sitting in seats. And so I figured if I wanted to really make the money, I got to get out of my comfort zone. I got out of my fear of speaking by proposing to my wife in front of an audience of 2,100 people at an event at one of these networking things. And I walked up just trembling, and I figured if I could ask my wife to marry me in front of it, everything else should be a little bit easier. And so that's how I kind of really got started. And then I got into marketing pretty heavy. I started learning during that phase of, doing the traditional, presentations, let's meet at coffee shops and stuff, that there was this thing coming out called the internet. And it seemed kind of fascinating to me because it was literally the name of the game is whoever tells the story the most wins. That's in any profession. And I thought, well, the internet might help me do that. And so I really started learning marketing. I met some great mentors. One of my best guys was one of my best friends, passed away a couple years ago, named Monty Bertrand. He was just a fantastic kid. Taught me all kinds of stuff because he was like a super nerd, but he's real intellectual. He was very, very patient with me. I used to pay people to make a PowerPoint for me and stuff like that. And so that was kind of my introduction to marketing. And the last thing in my career, because I've also looked at just about anything you think of to make money. Like I've tried all kinds of stuff. One of the most recent successful ones was I became an Amazon influencer because I make videos all the time on YouTube and stuff. And I make product reviews. Like companies send me free products. I make reviews. Thought I'd give that a shot. And that built up, videos on Amazon, which makes me vigilant. So then 4 years ago, I get a phone call from a guy, and I'll get you up to present now. 4 years ago, I get a phone call, or actually it was a Facebook message from a guy I really didn't want to talk to at the time because I was just frustrated with life and stuff like that. And he asked me what I was doing with my money. And I happened to play the message out loud on my speaker, and my wife heard it. And she goes, "You're going to call him, right?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Well, you just should look. Don't be closed-minded. You're better than that." And I'm like, fine. And so I called him, and it was a nice, cordial, easy understanding or conversation. And he had asked me if I was into crypto. And I said, "Hey, I'm a huge fan. I understand nothing about it. Seems like it's going to do something."
Yeah.
I said no to it at $800, Bitcoin at $800, because I was smart, in quotations, right? And then next thing you know, I started really studying this, and I was listening to some of the people. And then I saw people who were what they call crypto rich that, are dumber than a box of rocks, and they're just loaded. And I'm like, okay, might be something here. It seems like it's a little better than the lottery, but there might be the potential for that. And I'm looking at percentages of growth and stuff like that. And then here we are today. So there you go. That's 30 years I condensed into about 3 minutes.
Holy cow. That was a good 3 minutes. And by the way, you're in good company. And by the way, you have a fan club. Holy cow, man. Look at all these people in here just screaming your name. If that doesn't scream best interest, I don't know what does. So you said a lot of things that I can relate to. The residential ink, I was the same thing. When I got into the industry and someone said securities, I never spoke about this before. I was like, securities? What are you talking about? Like a bouncer? That's how bad I was. I had an education in business, and I didn't even know what that was, man. So I didn't understand how wealthy people built wealth. And a lot of us don't. And I think that says a lot. Your childlike curiosity of, hey, let me go figure it out. Because so many of us, including myself, like, oh, that's a scam. Oh, that's not good. And they just close things off. We say yes and no to things. We have no idea what the heck we're saying yes and no to. And for you to say, and then your wife say, hey, go check it out before you say yes and no. That's really one of the hallmarks to winners I've ever seen one. Right?
Smart
like
wife.
That's a sidekick, right? That's a partner right there, man. That's somebody say, hey, you go over and figure it out, then say yes and no. And that's why we do these shows, because there's so much nonsense. And the sad part is there's nonsense on everything. And what we like to do is clear the air, educate people so now they know what questions to ask, what to look for, a little bit of understanding, and just get it out the starting gate, man. And so thank you for sharing that, right? Because you live that. And you wanted a better quality of life. That's why, yeah. Go ahead.
Because I don't want to forget this. I want to say this.
Go ahead.
There were some really amazing turning points in my career, or that are still I'm growing with. But one thing I heard a guy say one time was never take financial advice from someone you don't want to be like financially. And I mean, it stuck. Like it really was like a bullet through the head. I'm like, well, yeah, because I think what it was is I was excited about the program I was in, and it just made sense. And I was like, how can people not see this? And the people that were usually screaming scam was Billy Bob Broken Poor and his cousins, right? They had no fruit of any type of success. And it was kind of like, why am I giving that person authority in my space to do anything, And that was kind of one of the biggest things that really kind of got me there. And so I sought out mentors. Like, I think it's more important to change, more important a lot of times to chase mentorship than anything else, of people that, have good character, integrity, and maybe a lifestyle that you're, looking for. And even if they don't give you their time, like sometimes I would take out guys that I knew were doing well. I would say, hey, I'm going to pay for dinner. And I didn't have the money to do it. And I would ask Stacy, my wife, you mind if I take some of the kids' food money and take this guy out to eat and pick his brain for an hour? And a lot of them took me up on that. And I was able to just really glean some really good nuggets on there that I think have propelled me towards where I was, where I'm at today.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for taking the time for this, because this is important. You said it, you hit the nail on the head. I spent decades putting myself, my ambition, my talents down because the people around me said, oh, don't do that. And listen, we're not knocking you. If you're happy doing your job and you're living your life, good. But what Mike and I are talking about is people who gave up. They didn't want to fight hard. They didn't do it for whatever reason. And so in my 40s, I said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go for it. Well, what if you fail? Listen, I'd rather die fighting on my feet than grovel on my knees. I just got done with it. So we're not bragging. I'm just saying, if people out there, we don't talk about this enough. You're looking at a panel of folks who just built from dirt and just wanted to go out there and be somebody and do something special. And here it is. And so thank you for that. Now let's get into it real quick. And I want Jeff to chime in. All right. Super simple. What does cryptocurrency mining software ownership even mean? Right there, you get a million different answers. Ask a million people. What is it?
You asking me or Jeff?
Yeah, which?
Oh, I'm asking Mike.
Oh,
I know they've heard from us.
You said Jeff.
They came to hear you, big dog. Yeah.
Question out. It sounds, if you hear that and you repeat that to people that are not in the space, it sounds like you just spoke French to somebody who only speaks English.
Yeah, I didn't even say it well. Yeah.
And I get it. Okay. The easiest way to understand crypto mining is most people understand Bitcoin and tokens and coins, right? You can buy cryptocurrency, and that is buying a token. The power of crypto is the fact that you can buy it in fragments, right? Like everybody thinks, I can't get into Bitcoin because it's $115,000 a coin. Well, you can buy $10 of it because it's fractionalized, right? So back to the question. When you buy tokens or coins in crypto, it's like buying, let's say, golden eggs. When you buy or get into mining crypto, or the ability to get software or a license that mines tokens, that's like buying the goose that's laying the golden eggs. And the important part about that is, if I buy, let's say I buy a token of whatever project, we can make it up, of Acme coin, right? I buy Acme coin, and hopefully it probably exists, but I'm just going to throw that out there as an example. I buy Acme coin for $1 and it goes to $5, right? Well, if I want to earn, a cash out, I've made $4 in profit, yay. Right. I did good with my money. Maybe I added some digits to it or whatever. Where if I had a Acme coin miner, I don't necessarily care what the price is every day, because the next day I have more tokens. The next day I have more golden eggs. The next day I have more golden eggs. So ultimately what mining is versus just buying crypto, and this is what really got me into the space, because I tried crypto trading. And that was a disaster because I'm not super good at math. Just admitted it. And, Chat GPT, thank you for Chat GPT of me asking all the simple math questions and figuring out what to do. But what it is is you have a digital asset that is a perpetual money making machine that you never have to babysit, train, or talk to. Like it just makes tokens of whatever project you happen to be excited about. And I'm done multiple. I'm in multiple. I mean, I have some favorites that are just crushing. That you buy the mining license or token or software, miner, whatever it's called, hash, different things. And every day it makes more tokens. So if the token today is $1 and I got it because it mined, I don't care if it goes to 50 cents because I didn't do anything. I didn't spend any money to get it. I spent the money the one time to get the miner that's making that. Well, what happens if that token appreciates? So I maybe mined tokens today at $1, and all of a sudden that token has some potential. It's got some good utility. And now it's at $1.50, $2, $5, $10, $1,000 on tokens I made today for $1 down the road if I didn't sell those. And then as people understand, the world's moving towards this crypto space that you're not going to necessarily always have to sell your tokens to cash in on the profits, because companies and banks, or primarily banks and other lending companies, are going to allow people to use their Bitcoin or their crypto holdings as collateral for collateralized loans. And then that's it. Okay. And by the way, here's my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is financial advice.
There you go.
You know, past experience or whatever, past results do not mean future predictions or anything like that. Like I'm just primarily a husband. I'm still a dad, but all the kids are out of the house. You know, everybody graduated and they're all moved on. But you know, that's kind of it. I mean, it just to me is fascinating because I'm like, well, where else can you do that? And I mean, some of the projects I've seen, you know, you can wake up and you can have $50 more in your pocket that you did yesterday and you didn't do anything for it. You can have 5,000 in your pocket the next day and you don't know what happened. You know, so it's, to me, so last thing on a miner, most of the miners, what they do, and interrupt me if I talk too long, so I just give you guys permission in case that, but what happens is, to give you another analogy or example.
Well, I do have a quick interruption.
Go ahead.
You don't say Acme token because apparently Looney Tunes is mad at me and I got a cease and desist
Okay,
order.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, no, I'm joking. Bugs Bunny's cool. Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay. So
well, there is an Acme cryptocurrency.
I said
is there really?
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
I just sent it in the private chat.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, we didn't know that.
It was an example, people. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like the Acme weights, right?
Yeah, right. Okay. One of us is growing up in the Bugs Bunny era, right?
Yeah,
okay.
most of us.
Wile E. Coyote. So another analogy of why you would want one of these software devices or these things. And a lot of times, you know, there's some of them that you can actually buy physical devices, put them in your house. There's other projects out there that you kind of crowdfund with them and you give them the money and they do all the work and they just pay you the rewards on it, right? So ultimately, if you think about it, crypto is now a digital superhighway. It's ultimately really what it is. It's called a blockchain. And back in the day when we all used fiat and paper money, it was like being when you take, you know, you write me a check, Mike, and I have to wait 2 days for it to clear. Then I want to write Jeff a check. It's got to clear for 5 days, and I write him a check. By the time it clears, it's slow. It's pathetic. It is like a steam engine railroad track, right? Today's day and age, with the speed of the internet, speed of blockchain technology, I can do peer-to-peer transactions, and I could literally, you know, send somebody $10,000 in a split second on crypto on a blockchain. So it's a high-speed rail versus that. What crypto miners are, in a nutshell, is every one of us has gone to eat at a fast food restaurant. Like, let's say, use Mickey D's as an example. You walk up and you take your credit card out and I'm exchanging my dollars for your burger, right, at McDonald's. But if you own the little transaction machine and you got a piece of that every time I tapped it, or everybody that came through tapped it and tapped it and tapped it, whether you're around or not, that it verified a transaction, which is what a miner does on the blockchain, you got a little piece of that. How many of those things do you want doing that for you? Because you can, what if you had, instead of just the one in front of the one guy at the counter, you owned all 3 of them,
right?
Or you own 10 of them. And now they're just wrapping up like this and you're nowhere to be found. you can be on the beach, and this is what creates beach money.
All right, I want Jeff's input because nobody explained up until you, and thank Jeff for this, that I understand what you just said. So when it came to blockchain and what it is and how it's different than the trust system and the things we're used to, what you just explained, and audience chime in on this. This is not a new concept. You just gave all 50 examples that we all encounter every single day. Franchises, this thing, diversification, blah, 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 right? So what are some of the different, why do people get this twisted still? In my opinion, what turned me off until I met Jeff was the nonsense. Like, I don't know, I just went out there and everything I saw was kind of goofy marketing. It reminded me of the Wind Sox at the car lot and somebody run out there chasing you down the street. So, but what we're trying to say is that's not the case. This is not a woo-woo, goofy, this is something that serious companies, I've done my own research, serious companies are involved with this at high levels. This is not weird. So what are some of the nuances that, the good and bad and the ugly, Jeff and Mike, that, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me just interject here with one thing that I like to share with people with regards to today. Think about decades ago when Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Amazon introduced their technologies. It was new. It was revelational. And people were like, oh, that's not going to work. Where are they today? They're industry giants. This is where we are today with blockchain technology. It's a technology, and there are different products and services that are being developed on the blockchain. And it's just a matter of tweaking our understanding of the different verbiage. So we talk about, we talk about the mining ownership aspect of it. Mike mentioned the debit card swipe. And sometimes I give the example of being a toll booth owner. If you own 5 toll booths on a highway, and every time a car goes through, you're the owner, you get a piece of the action, and the rest goes to the state if they decide to fix the roads. So that's ownership. So we're kind of putting that different twist on it to make it more understandable and relatable, if you will. So that's a twist that I like to throw in there because we're bringing it to a simplistic, as I say, kindergarten version of understanding. And as they start to acclimate, then they'll start coming on board with the verbiage that is so standard in the industry. And that's why Mike Healy and myself are aware of those words. But to start out people at a simplistic portion is that's how we approach it and giving it to them.
Right. And real quick, because nobody came to hear me on this, but I'm going to ask the things that people are getting embarrassed to ask. One of the things I heard early on, well, there's no tangible, it's not tangible. You're just investing in like fairy dust or whatever. And that's not the case. You opened my eyes to that, right? We heard of REITs, right? Real estate investment trust. Well, what's the VREIT? It's on a different system. It's invested in property. So I guess my point here is that we want to encourage folks to do your homework. That's why I champion you, Jeff. You break it down, you share it. Obviously, Mike Healy does that extremely well. He's got a fan club coming here. And probably same folks like us, people who are like, I don't understand this. And all they needed was somebody to be honest. Not sell them, not persuade them, explain it, right. Give them that, hey, this is how you do it. Go try it, see what happens, right? So what are some of the objections or hesitations? Because to me, it sounds like everything else. Everybody, every industry, every arena has the good eggs and the bad eggs, right? And so you just are a good egg. You want to do the right thing. You want to make money. So what are some of the resistance that you hear on the general? And what are some things that, we can clear up today, guys? Because there's some things out there that people just assume.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So what are some of the common things, Mike Healy, that people hear and they don't fully understand it? And it keeps them from an opportunity that could increase their quality of life or make them happy, right? Or be something of interest.
Easy. The biggest one, in my opinion, that is a stumbling block for people is it looks too good to be true. And that comes from years and years and years of conditioning. The conditioning, I mean, that you have to work 40-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks, have 2-3 jobs and barely make ends meet, right? Because you're a slave to the system. And quite a few of us want to break out of the system. I was never able to be a square peg in a square hole. I was round, oval, and smashed, right? Like I don't know what it was about my nature. Jokingly, my friend always said, man, you're the kind of guy that goes face first through the glass and worries about the stitches later. And it's paid off, right? And, back to the guy that was saying, he was telling, the same phrase I said a little bit ago about not taking advice from financial people. He said this same thing. He said, well, that's too good to be true. And he used to jokingly say people would say that to him.
Right.
And he said, well, if you won the lotto, would that be too good to be true? And he said, well, yeah. He said, well, would you be dumb enough to rip up the ticket? And it was just kind of a pretty analogy, because people it's a knee-jerk reaction of everything being a scam. And typically it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism. A lot of times people, especially a close unit of people that have stopped dreaming about freedom and finance, the financial freedom that they could potentially have, a lot of people are stuck in that little hole, that little bubble, and their friends around them, and nobody wants to outdo anybody or outlive anybody or things like that, right? And the problem is there's too many people out there that have good hearts that want to help people. And we've all heard the saying, you want to give to the poor. Well, you can't give to the poor if you're one of them. And if you don't take ownership of that and set your family apart from the rest of the Billy Bob broken poors out there, and I jokingly say that I got enough hillbilly in me to be legit. I'm in good company, and that's to me that's what it's mostly been about, right? Like I'm not an extravagant guy. I mean, I just finally bought a decent car a couple months ago, but I've been driving minivans that are paid off, have 180,000 miles on them, because I don't care what anybody thinks, because you ain't paying my bills.
Right.
You don't get to occupy space. But guess who wakes up when they're done sleeping? Like I put out on my Facebook a couple days ago. Today, I woke up at 5, read my Bible, drank my coffee, worked out, went for a bike ride, went to the pool, came back, went to happy hour with my wife for dinner, because I'm one of those older guys now that eats in the afternoon, and made more money than I had the day before, because I had mining software that was doing the work for me.
Yeah.
Not rocket science.
Bravo.
Well, and I know this is supposed to be about the blockchain and the mining, but listen, you split it wide open. You truth bombs. Yeah, until we get past all that nonsense and we start owning our own space, defining success in life for ourselves, and stop hanging around people who want to pull us down in that hole and keep us there, then we're not going to succeed. That's why the Hounds was created. I was supposed to fall through the cracks. Well, I climbed out of them, and I don't want other people to fall. I'm sealing them up, right? And that's what this is about. It may not be for you, but it could be for someone else. It could be for you down the road. And so thank you. Now that we talked about the juicy, the stuff that people don't like about it.
Can I add to that, Mike?
Sure, go ahead.
Can I add to that? What I have found is that there's a lot of misinformation out there with regards to this industry. And it's sad that it is out there. However, we look at both the centralized systems and the decentralized systems. There is corruption no matter where you go. And it's a matter of doing your due diligence and really doing the research to become educated, because you don't listen to a one way of thinking. That has been, a stumbling block with regards to really having people open their minds just to get educated. That's all changed now. So more people are receptive. They're seeing what's going on, and it's becoming more of the mainstream. It's becoming widespread, and we're seeing more outlets that are accepting forms of payment through cryptocurrency. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing too is that, I go back to the idea of, the Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Amazon, and we're in that new era, and this industry is really changing. And it's really impacting people's lives in bigger ways than people really understand. And it's a new technology. So my encouragement to people is just keep an open mind. As Mike Asherbrander, you said, It may not be for you, and that's okay. If it's not for you, great. If it's for you, great. At least you got the education so you can make an educated decision yourself and, and move forward from there. And then you be comfortable not making the decision from what other people are saying.
Mic drop. I mean, and you heard Mike Healy say it. Hey, I met some cool dudes and it led to this and it led to that. That's what I mean. Because, I'll check this out. I went to this webinar. I checked out Mike Healy's stuff. Okay, what's the worst that can happen? You get around other winners who think and are open-minded, and searching, and that don't mean you're dumb. It's actually dumb not to. And I don't mean that rude. I'm talking to myself. I spent way too many decades, putting my head in the sand, right? And don't do it. So again, it's just one more avenue, an arrow. It's an opportunity, but let's clear the air. There's nothing illegitimate about it. There's good folks, there's bad folks, there's other folks. That's the same in every industry. Right?
Can I throw this out there?
Please do.
Mike? Sorry. The other thing I think that I want to address is it looks too good to be true. And then you see so many people that brag about just being insanely wealthy, right? And that's intimidating because we've all heard the stories of the lotto people that just crushed their lives. But you got to remember that it's not about necessarily a lot of times for just getting super rich. It's being able to afford double chicken on your Chipotle burrito,
right?
Without guilt, right? Like, can I afford extra chicken on my burrito? Can I buy off the left side of the menu as opposed to looking at the right side of the menu? I mean, real simple stuff. And the other thing is if your spending is out of control, it doesn't necessarily mean how much you could be a multimillionaire and still be broke. You could have millions of dollars coming in.
Right.
And typically, literally, it's just a matter of making a little bit more than you spend every month and not putting yourself in a situation where you have down months or down years that you get destroyed. And that's why I like these. That's why I look at different projects and little different hustles and stuff like that, because it's like, well, what can I supplement my income with? What would be, I'll try this, I'll try that and see what that happens. I mean, crypto mining just happens to have some juice to it. And, again, you don't necessarily have to go out there and, think you're going to be a multimillionaire, even though there are plenty of people and some of them have become billionaires. It's literally just kind of put it in perspective. And when you learn, you have a new skill that can't be taken away. And then you get better and you learn more. You start listening to the language. If I dropped you off in a country that you didn't know the language, usually people adapt or die, right? You would probably adapt if you've got the brain and the heart for it, to the point that you would start to understand the language enough that now you can interact with the rest of that community. Right. And easy, you can order dinner without hurting yourself and getting frog legs versus shrimp legs or what, what I mean? So it's stuff like that. So it's just, it's just an education process. I'm still learning. I don't know. I really don't. I still think I got like a second grader education on crypto, but just enough to make some money with it. That's all.
Yeah. And Ted, can I add to what Mike talked about, adapting? And that is, you remember the icons of Nokia and Kodak? They're no longer here. Why? Because they didn't adapt to the new technologies. And now Apple is replaced Nokia, and then you've got digital imaging, all kinds of software applications out there, and digital cameras that are doing this, and that's what put them, left them in the dust.
Jim Rohn or Zig, I don't know which one, said what you said earlier, Mike. Things aren't too expensive; you just can't afford them. Boy, you talking about burying the head in the sand. That was torture, because I believed that to be true. But boy, I wasn't ready to go out and explore and, get educated and tell people telling me, oh, don't do that. And I'm like, okay, don't do that. Learn, go out there and figure it out. And this is what I like about you. Now I'm a Mike Healy fan, because he's saying, go out there and explore and learn, educate yourself, challenge things, get to the root, try to figure out the truth of the matter. And the truth of the matter is, this is a big deal. So don't let just occasional people and goofiness, but don't go out there and you're talking about wisdom. It's like the true with any financial thing, with any other thing. Like you said, Jeff, wisdom is wisdom, right? And what Mike said, hey, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's just another tool asset that could help you in a totality of other things, right? I love it. Thank you for being the first.
Build wealth. It's a build wealth program.
That's right. And all right, so let's get to it. The whole audience now knows, hey, this is legit. These are things that you could do. So, and by the way, Jason Perry asked this earlier, and I didn't want to, because he jumped the gun on us because he obviously knows more than I do. But all right, so he asked the question, because let's get in the nuts and bolts, and I'm gonna let you kind of have a free dialogue, free flow with this, Mike and Jeff. So when people go, like, how do you even pick them? Like, do you know which company? Are there different investment options? So someone goes, yeah, I'd like to know more about this. Where do we even start? How do we even know what questions to ask, what to look for, what to research, Mike?
I've gotten in projects that were predictive projects. They were someday projects, and I might as well have just set fire to my money in my yard and roasted marshmallows on them. So I've looked at those. They have great ideas. Like, a lot of times I like to bet on the jockey, than necessarily just the horse. And so a lot of times, and there's some shysters out there that are good speakers. They're carnival barkers that you'll fall for. And to me, it's experience, and the way you get over it a lot of times is I used to, just to make myself feel better when I lost money, was well, at least it didn't have another zero on it, stuff like that. Like, I thank God didn't have another zero on it. Okay, I learned my lesson there. Next thing, right? And sometimes you get kicked by a horse, and for some dumb reason you keep smacking it on the butt and seeing if it doesn't kick you again.
Does it again? Yeah.
Yeah, but I've learned also, again, to seek out mentors, to seek out people that are super educated in these spaces that can, usually have seen enough in the field that they can kind of give me some feedback real quick. Okay. So anyhow, so I look for projects. I like projects that are currently active, tend to have a decent past, and tend to have a potential good future. One of the projects I'm in right now is checking all the boxes, and it's just like, it's a too good to be true kind of scenario. But every time I study it up and listen to it, I'm like, it's just too FOMO'd for me to not give it a shot, or at least try it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the thing. And then, it's really just a matter of, I never, ever, do, if you want to call it an investment, invest more than you can lose. Like, I see people that think, okay, if this thing goes up $1 and I drop 50 grand into it, I'll double my money. Right. And they lose it all. And it's stupid, because it's just a dumb decision. Hedge your bets. Don't stick all your eggs in one basket. How many times has mom and grandma said that for all those years? Right.
Listen to them. Yeah.
Listen to them. They had some advice there. You don't know it all. I don't know it all. So I've learned that. I've learned to diversify. I've learned, again, I don't get too excited. I call it cautiously optimistic about projects. If I ever tell anybody about anything, I always, disclaimers, not a financial advisor, never invest more than you can lose, no ROI, do your own due diligence. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Pray about it. A lot of people probably have enough faith out there they can pray about it. And if they have peace about it, they do it. If they get a check in their spirit about it, they don't do it. Great. That's fine. I mean, I wish I probably would have listened a few times. I've jumped the gun. I thought I was Holy Ghost Jr. and went out there and made my own path. But, so to me, it's, and I don't know if I even answered the guy's question. I just look for projects that are semi-active. Can I cash out if I need to immediately? Big one. What's the potential future hold for this thing? Where am I at? What's my risk level? What's a goal that I would have? Like, how many miners do I want to pick up that would potentially make me this? And then if there's extra money here, how can I get more miners of this or more tokens of this project? And I kind of go along those lines. That's pretty much how I do it. And, that's really how it works. So.
No, I love what you said. Oh gosh. So I had done that before. My wife said, hey, you're going to try to fix this thing. I lost some money. And I looked at her and said, That's an $8,000 mistake. Now, I don't want to go make them and slap the horse on the backside, like you said 100 times. But I want people to understand the mindset. Once you do it well, sometimes, you just lose. But what did you gain? Well, you can turn it into, never do anything ever. Or you can turn it into, okay, I learned what not to do. Let me go and find a way not to do it again, right? And you're talking wisdom, right? And this is simple stuff. It's not always easy. But that's why I like Jeff there. Jeff, is the QR code working?
Yeah, I just went to the link and it says they're having technical issues.
Yeah, it's working for me.
Inconvenience.
No, it come up for me.
Okay.
But my phone likes you, so we'll see. Try it again. Let me know. And but I like Mike Healy. I'll just be honest. Like, he's just well balanced. School of hard knocks, Mike. We come from the same school, I think. And it's just practical. We don't want folks, like you said, falling through the cracks. And we want to encourage people to go out there. You start here and maybe you end up over there, right? Maybe you're living, Mike. And I love what you said. People sitting there, they hate what they do. They hate their situation and they feel powerless. I did for many, many decades. And go out there and explore. Well, how do I know well, then go out there and, like the Bible says, man, ask, seek, and knock. That's it. Whether you believe it or not, it's good advice. Ask, seek, knock. Go out there and explore stuff, because all the questions you have will be answered when you go out there and figure stuff out. The last place I thought I'd be in life is this. How about you, Mike and Jeff? I did not. Hey, one day I'm going to lead a business community of awesome people. No, I never. In fact, I resisted it. But because I went out there, because I met some really cool people, like Mike Healy just said, because I was willing to venture out, that's what happened. Go ahead, Jeff. You're cutting out a little bit. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, the link is working now, so I'm going to.
Good.
Yeah, so if they want to try it again, they can go back and try it again.
Yeah, so
I'm going to let Mike Healy answer that question. Because I was focusing on making sure that the link would work. So Mike, you respond to Mike Asherbrander's comment.
Ask it again, Mike.
I think he's really delayed. I think I asked the question like 5 minutes ago. He's over there hanging out with business conference. Yeah, no, Jeff's got the hotel internet. It's okay.
That's all right.
But yeah, break it down for us real quick, because I want to give a shout out, because I love your spirit of, hey, if you're not happy in life, go out there and explore. This is one option. And now our goal at the Hounds of Business is to make sure folks plug in to where they can get educated. Not pitch slap with a P, not pastured, not bothered, not told to do stupid things, unwise things. But folks who say, hey, here's how this operates, right? Help people make up their own mind. We're all big boys and girls. And I love that, because I don't need you to sell me. I need you to show me and help me figure it out. I'll make the decision. And that's why I work so well with Jeff. So is there anything else, as far as anything you want to share with people? Is help them understand this. And audience, if you have questions, I know y'all got questions. Y'all being too dadgum shy today. But if you want to, you got Dr. Jeff, set with him. Birds of a feather flock together. So you got Jeff, you got Mike Healy. I'm sure you guys have a ton of stuff for people to plug into, right? Probably webinars. I know Jeff's got tons of them. And for any other reason, go plug in the people that are ambitious, people who want to be something, right? Because me and Jeff, Mike, I'm going to assume you probably are too. It's not just about being independent, happy, and, free. It's about the impact we can make when we don't have to get up and work the job. Right. When we don't have to worry about electric bills. Wow, we can go out there and make a dent in homelessness. We can go out there and really tackle issues that are true and dear to our heart, man. And I think that's the motivator. Take care of you. You deserve it, right? You work hard. Right. You just may be working hard in the stuff that ain't for you. But if you have a passion to be somebody and do something special, you got to get out there. Go out there to the webinar. And Jim Rome said it. They never took the class. They never went to the webinar. They never asked the questions. And that's what we're encouraging today. So, Mike Healy, before we give a shout out to Birds of a Feather, anything you'd like to share from your experience, the people listening who are on the fence, maybe those who are ready to just say, okay, you got me. All right, now what? Right?
I would just tell people to, a lot of times, take a deep breath, because you can get on that hamster wheel of going and having no hope. And it says that hope deferred makes the heart grow sick. And a lot of people's ailments have probably come from not having any kind of peace, not any kind of joy, nothing to look forward to. And literally like 99% of the issues are typically financially focused. And I get it, right? Like I've been there, done that, got all the t-shirts. And, you know, there's been major ups and downs in my life. I mean, my kids, they remember getting, I mean, they were happy kids regardless. So that's just the way we raised them. But, you know, most of the toys that kids got were from their thrift stores, just so we had some stuff to get there. My wife, one time, this is when we were married, by the way, I was making so much money, wink, wink, that she canceled our $14 a month trash pickup. And I didn't know she did it to save $14 a month. I didn't know she did it until I couldn't figure out what that really rancid smell was in my car. And she put it in the trunk. She put it in the trunk and forgot to dump it.
Oh.
And I mean, do you know how demoralizing it is as a dad and a husband to have that where you got to cancel $14 a month? So a lot of times too, you know, there's an old story about the hound dog that lays on the nail. Guy comes up and visits, and all of a sudden this guy walks up to the porch, and this guy's sitting there in a rocking chair, and there's a hound dog in there. Every once in a while, the hound dog would just yell out, right? And the guy says, "Why does he keep doing that?" He goes, "Well, he's laying on a nail. He's just too lazy to get off of it." And that's what most people are doing. They complain and they tell a big mean story, and they're talking about how bad they hate it. Then get your lazy butt up and freaking go learn some new skills, figure something out, and get out of that rut. That's it.
Mike, you're a gentleman. You can say ass on the Hounds of Business. Yeah, you can't say it on my radio show, but get off your ass and go start living, baby.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to see some of the stuff I've trained on and stuff, you're welcome to go to my YouTube channel. Just type in Mike Healy. You'll recognize me. You'll see what I'm doing. And, you know, I got plenty of content on there from all kinds of stuff that I've done over the years. I've had a channel since like 2008, I think. So thank you for having me on here, Mike. I really appreciate it. And Jeff, I appreciate you inviting me and having enough courage to invite me on. And Mike, enough courage to have somebody on here you've never met. So thank you to you. I applaud it. And thank you.
Well, brother,
thank you.
Birds of a feather flock together. I trust Jeff. And this is what the whole thing is. Shameless plug, Hounds of Business. People have an impact. They want to go out there and they just don't know which questions to ask, who to turn to. And then we wonder, well, hey, why isn't homelessness and all these things getting better? You know why? Because the folks like us aren't getting it done. So that's why we exist. I mean, you know, we need people, resources, and support to get things done. That's what you need, right? If you're a sports team, you're a business owner, you need to know the rules, how the game is played, and an all-star team willing to back you. That's why we're here. So real quick, pioneers everywhere, whether it's in crypto, finance, healthcare. This is what we have, folks. We got folks just like this. Beverly Neal Clinton, Healing for Wounds, sick and tired of seeing things go to the wayside. People aren't getting paid. Things aren't getting done. So this lady come out, this company said, we're going to make it right. If the clinics and everybody's taken care of, the patient's taken care of, guess what? We're doing our job and everybody's making money. That's why we're doing it. All right. So thank you, Beverly. Wanted to make sure, because these folks carry our mission. We can't do this without them. And this guy is a Hollywood stuntman. Mike, I need to introduce you to Curtis Rivers. This guy is unbelievable. We talk about all the stuff you talked about. Curtis embodies this, because Curtis said, you know what? I got the dream life. People would have just, you can't even imagine having his life. And he says, I want to be happy. So then he starts a business and gives it up. Who does that? That's why I'm blessed every day. So this guy, if you're stuck and you're sick and you're at this point where you're like, yeah, this conversation is getting me, but now what? Right? You got a lot of stuff not worked out yet. Join the club, number one. Number two, that's why I love Curtis, because it's not easy to get into my head, I'm telling you. But he helps clarity, right? Maybe you got so much stuff you need to overcome. Start there. Then everything else becomes more, enjoyable. It's a journey. It's an adventure. It's not terrifying. So thank you, Curtis, because if you can help me, I don't know who the hell you can't help. And then there you go. There's Dr. Jeff again. He has really his educational approach, bringing experts and great people like Mike Healy. Yeah, hounds are now doing things and with wisdom, right? They want wanted to do these things. They just didn't have the people they can trust to help guide them in their best interest. So thank you for letting me do that, because we got to shout good people out who are making things happen. And these are folks who are they just woke up one day, maybe they got laid off, and they said, I don't go back to that. I'm going to figure it out. So that's the encouragement. Send this to somebody. Introduce Mike and Jeff to somebody, because there's a lot of unhappy people who are burying their head in the sand, just like the redneck. And it's time that we tell them, hey, you're not alone. All right. Show up to the thing. Get to know people. Have winter discussions. Talk about it. So thank you all for this moment, for this education. And I never thought in a million years I'd be like, yeah, this is an amazing topic. I'd like to learn more. But dadgummit, y'all did it. And it's so easy that even the redneck connector can do it, folks. So, Jeff, would you like to close this out? Would you like to share anything else, brother?
Yeah, I think for me, what I'd like to share is a little part of my story with regards to being an ex-software engineer and for 27 to 30 years. And my claim to fame for story is that in 2009, I was approached with the opportunity of purchasing 500 Bitcoin at 0.0017 cents, which was an 85-cent investment. And my response was, nah, sounds like a scam.
Sound like a scam.
So today, I just pulled up. Today, Bitcoin is $113,911 per coin. You multiply that by 500. So my story to this, or the theme to this, is that started back in 2008, 2009. That was blockchain technology. Here we are, like almost, 16, 17 years later, and we're really kickstarting this whole industry around blockchain technology. Yeah. And again, go back to decades ago to those technologies. Where are they today? That's where we are with blockchain technology opportunities. So I encourage people to be open, just get information. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. At least you're educated. So thanks, Mike. I appreciate both Mikes, Mike Healy, Mike Asherbranner. Mike Healy and I go back 3 years, so around that plus, and he's a true educator, and I really value, appreciate the value that he shares with his audience and the people that he is helping.
Yeah, great words of wisdom, Jeff. Great encouragement. And worst case, you end up wearing your camo hat, talking to winners, dealing with winners and like-minded people in the comments, right, in the community. This is what it's about. We're not the only option, but maybe we're the option, right? So I'm going to shamelessly plug Hounds of Business. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Redneck1. You can also go to our YouTube channel. Tons of free info from experts and good-hearted people like Mike Healy and Jeff and tons of others. Go there as a resource. Hey, start learning, guys. I'm living. Took me 40-something years of life. Oh, don't wait that long, Dad. I'm going to do it now, no matter where you're at. So thank you, Mike Healy. I can't wait to learn more. You're a great man. Appreciate your time today and the education. The Hounds will definitely share and support anything that you've got going on, brother. And Dr. Jeff, thank you for bringing this opportunity and for being that guy to open the doors to things that people just, thought was a scam. I mean, and thank you for being honest and upright, brother. So everybody have a good day. Oh, my pleasure. Here in a couple of weeks, we have Flourish Foundation, which is all about self-harm. This is self-harm. I got to be careful on social media. But we are combating that at the front lines. So we got a major event at the Olympic Center, lots of folks behind it. So Shonda Spates, Flourish Foundation, she will be on here soon in the next couple of weeks. And then next week, Jeff, we got your CEO, right? You want to tell folks?
Right, Wakas Suhail. So he will be coming on. He is the CEO and founder of Yarda One and Meta One, which is a metaverse platform that is accredited and supported by Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and Google. They did a 2-year contract with Google, and we just had a write-up in Forbes magazine. So, and that's AI, Jason Perry. That's all AI driven. I see you add AI tech to that mix. Exciting times ahead. Yes, there is.
Yeah, join us next week, same time, 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern, Wednesday with Wakas. And I was around when everybody was like, I don't know about that. Now, boom, right? Google, Amazon, right? this is what I'm talking about. Don't wait till it's like, you know, Betamax in 2020, right? Do it now,
Right.
learn it now. Opportunity strikes when it's hot. So thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you. Good to see everybody. Yolanda, absolutely. If Yolanda likes it, it's an A+, Mike. So there you go. That's how I gauge the shows, man. So
Hey, Yolanda.
yeah, Yolanda, you were finally awesome. So we will see you all next week with Lacoste. All right. Y'all be good. Appreciate you. Don't do it alone, folks. Go build a lifestyle.
Bye, everyone. Great night.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.